Cummins CEO Jennifer Rumsey just dropped a bombshell, unveiling a hydrogen engine that could turn the entire auto industry on its head. But what if this isn't just a bold experiment? What if it's the future? As the world races toward clean transportation, could a diesel titan like Cummins leap ahead with technology powered by hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe? Why are governments in both the US and Europe suddenly backing it? Could this engine finally rival electric vehicles and rewrite the future of mobility? And if so, are we about to witness the biggest shift in transportation in decades? So, what exactly is this engine that Cummins CEO Jennifer Rumsey says will shake up the entire auto industry? It's called the Hydrogen Internal Combustion Engine, or H2-ICE. And no, it's not some far-off science experiment. It's here, it's real, and it might just flip the entire conversation around green transportation on its head. Let's break this down in the simplest way possible. Instead of using petrol or diesel like traditional engines, or relying on batteries like electric vehicles, this beast burns hydrogen, one of the cleanest fuels we've got. That means no carbon dioxide coming out of the exhaust pipe, just a small amount of nitrogen oxides, which can be easily cleaned up using existing emission technology. Now here's the magic. You get the raw power and performance of a diesel engine with the green footprint of an electric vehicle. We're talking about engines that can go 500 miles on a tank with refueling times of just 15 minutes. That's massive, especially for heavy-duty trucks that can't afford to sit around for hours charging. And what makes this even more exciting? Cummins isn't starting from scratch. They've cleverly engineered these hydrogen engines to work within their existing engine architecture. That means manufacturers and fleet operators don't need to rip out their entire infrastructure to switch over. Same engine mounts, same size, same tools in the garage, just a new, cleaner fuel source. Jennifer Rumsey, the forward-thinking CEO of Cummins, calls this a drop-in solution. In other words, it's a game changer that doesn't require a total system overhaul, and that's incredibly important in industries like trucking and logistics, where time, cost, and reliability are everything. The US government is putting real money behind this. Cummins, along with PACCAR and MAHLE, received $10.5 million from the Department of Energy to push hydrogen engine technology forward. And this isn't about baby steps. Cummins hydrogen engines already meet the EU's zero-emission standards for heavy-duty vehicles. That's a big deal, considering how strict those standards are. For Jennifer Rumsey and her team at Cummins, this hydrogen engine isn't just another new product. It's part of a larger, bolder mission they call Destination Zero, an ambitious plan to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions from their engines while keeping the global economy moving. And the hydrogen combustion engine sits right at the center of that strategy. But here's something most people don't realize. Hydrogen internal combustion engines have one big advantage over hydrogen fuel cells. They don't require ultra-pure hydrogen. That makes them more affordable, easier to produce, and more flexible when it comes to fuel supply chains. It's one of those under-the-radar advantages that could make hydrogen engines far more practical in the real world. And we haven't even talked about the supply chain perks. By building these engines to work with existing tooling and parts, Cummins can scale up production much faster than companies starting from scratch with electric drivetrains or complex hydrogen fuel cells. In short, this is not a concept car for auto shows. This is something that can be rolled out, adopted, and used right now. But of course, having a revolutionary engine is only one part of the story. The fuel behind it, hydrogen, has to be just as ready. So where's all this hydrogen going to come from? That's where things get really interesting. Believe it or not, some of the biggest hydrogen investments are happening in places you might not expect. Oil-rich states like Texas and Louisiana. Yep, the same regions that have powered America's fossil fuel industry for over a century are now betting big on green hydrogen. Why? Because hydrogen is everywhere, it's clean, and here's the kicker, It can be produced using the same infrastructure these regions already have. Republican Governor Greg Abbott announced the creation of the largest green hydrogen plant in the U.S., located in Texas, which will be powered by wind and solar. When it's fully operational, it'll produce 200 metric tons of green hydrogen every day. That's enough to power fleets of trucks, buses, and industrial equipment with zero emissions. The Department of Energy also launched 7 regional clean hydrogen hubs, investing $7 billion to make clean hydrogen more available across the country. These hubs are meant to serve hard-to-decarbonize sectors like shipping, aviation, and, you guessed it, trucking. And Cummins is perfectly positioned to be at the heart of this transformation. Now let's talk about Cummins as a company. This isn't a flashy startup trying to make a name. This is a 100-year-old engine powerhouse that's now reinventing itself for the clean energy era. Under Jennifer Rumsey's leadership, Cummins is embracing a multi-path strategy. Hydrogen engines, fuel cells, electric drivetrains, and even green hydrogen production. They've even launched a whole new business arm called Accelera, dedicated entirely to zero-emission technology. From electrolyzers that create hydrogen, to fuel cells that power heavy-duty vehicles, to the new Helm platform, Cummins is building out an entire clean energy ecosystem. And they're doing it while still turning a profit and smashing Wall Street expectations. This kind of approach, innovation without disruption, is rare in the auto world. Most traditional companies either resist change or go all in on one risky solution. Cummins is doing neither. They're using their experience and scale to lead a transition, not chase one. And that's why when Jennifer Rumsey says their hydrogen engine could shake the entire industry, she means it. It's not just about building a cleaner engine. It's about building an entire clean energy business on top of a century-old foundation. It's smart, it's sustainable, and it's already working. So where do we go from here? Well, the pieces are falling into place. The technology is proven, the infrastructure is growing, the political support is heating up, and companies like Cummins are already moving full speed ahead. But of course, big change always comes with big questions. Will the world move fast enough to adopt hydrogen at scale? Will other automakers follow Cummins' lead or continue pouring billions into battery-only tech? And how long before hydrogen becomes as common as petrol at your local fuel station? One thing is certain, the future of transport is being rewritten right now, and Cummins is holding the pen. And if you're still thinking hydrogen engines are a long shot, think again. Because according to Jennifer Rumsey, the revolution has already started, and it's picking up speed. So, what exactly is this engine that Cummins CEO Jennifer Rumsey says will shake up the entire auto industry? It's called the Hydrogen Internal Combustion Engine, or H2ICE. And no, it's not some far-off science project. This is real technology that's already working, and it could completely revolutionize the way we think about sustainable transport. Let's break it down a bit. Instead of using petrol or diesel like conventional engines, or relying on heavy, expensive batteries like electric vehicles, this engine burns hydrogen. Not just any hydrogen, mind you, but green hydrogen, which is produced using renewable energy. That means when you burn hydrogen in an engine, the only thing that comes out of the tailpipe is a bit of water vapor. Zero carbon emissions. It's a clean solution that could totally change the game for sectors like transportation, heavy-duty trucks, and construction equipment. But here's the kicker. Unlike electric vehicles that rely on bulky batteries, hydrogen engines can be refueled in just 15 minutes, and they can go as far as 500 miles on a single tank. That's a diesel-level range with no harmful emissions. So for industries that depend on long-haul trucks or construction machines that are constantly in use, this is a huge step forward. It's performance, sustainability, and practicality wrapped up in one. Now, Cummins didn't just wake up one day and decide to build a hydrogen engine. This is the result of years of research and development, and the company is already reaping the rewards. They're not starting from scratch either. Their hydrogen combustion engine is designed to fit into existing engine platforms. What does that mean? It means they don't need to reinvent the wheel. Fleet operators, trucking companies, and vehicle manufacturers don't have to rebuild their entire operations to adopt this new tech. The engine works with the same equipment and infrastructure that they already have. Jennifer Rumsey, Cummins CEO, calls it a drop-in solution, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's an engine that drops into your existing fleet without any major changes or disruptions. And the support for this hydrogen revolution is already coming from some very important places. The US government recently awarded Cummins, along with its partners, PACCAR and MAHLE, a significant $10.5 million grant to further develop hydrogen engine technology. That's not small potatoes. The Department of Energy isn't just handing out money to any old idea. It's betting on hydrogen engines as a key piece of the puzzle to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while keeping the wheels of the economy turning. And over in Europe, the support for hydrogen is equally strong. The UK government has also committed funds to support Cummins' hydrogen engine development at their Darlington facility. This isn't just talk. The UK is putting its money where its mouth is, funding the very companies that are building the technologies that will make zero-emission transport a reality. That's a major endorsement not just for Cummins, but for hydrogen itself as a viable large-scale alternative to traditional fuels. What's even more surprising is the bipartisan support that hydrogen is getting across the globe. In the US, you've got Republicans in traditionally oil-heavy states like Texas and Louisiana jumping on the hydrogen bandwagon. Why? Well, because hydrogen doesn't just meet environmental goals. It helps create local jobs, it uses existing energy infrastructure, and it works alongside fossil fuel byproducts. Suddenly, hydrogen is becoming that rare thing in politics, a clean fuel that everyone can agree on. In Texas, the state is building America's largest green hydrogen plant. Backed by Governor Greg Abbott, who's not exactly known for his commitment to tree-hugging policies, this plant will produce green hydrogen using wind and solar power. With that kind of infrastructure in place, hydrogen is becoming a serious contender in the fight for clean energy. And Cummins? Well, they're right in the middle of it all, helping to shape the future of energy production in the US. But of course, it's not all smooth sailing. While hydrogen is gathering support from both sides of the political aisle, not every regulator is fully on board yet. Take California, for example. The California Air Resources Board, CARB, which sets the state's strict emission standards, is still a little cautious when it comes to hydrogen engines. They're heavily invested in electric vehicles and fuel cells for their zero-emission targets, and they've been reluctant to embrace hydrogen combustion just yet. But here's the thing. Even CARB admits they're keeping a close eye on Cummins and their progress with hydrogen engines. They've said they're willing to keep the door open, which is a major win for the hydrogen movement. This means Cummins has a solid chance to influence and shape future regulatory frameworks, especially as the momentum around hydrogen continues to build. Now, Jennifer Rumsey's bold bet on hydrogen looks smarter every day. Cummins isn't just in the engine building business anymore. They're shaping energy policy, creating real-world solutions, and positioning themselves to be a key player in the energy transition. As governments around the world pour money into clean hydrogen projects and policies evolve, Cummins is perfectly placed to be at the heart of this revolution. But technology and politics are only part of the equation. What really matters now is whether the commercial vehicle world, the fleets, the truckers, the transport giants, are ready to embrace this massive shift. Cummins is betting that the answer is yes. But do the people who drive these vehicles see it the same way? Are they on board with the change? In the next chapter, we'll dive deep into the reaction from those at the front line of this revolution, the people who are actually going to drive these hydrogen-powered trucks and heavy equipment. But before we get there, let's talk about competition. The auto industry is full of giants, all scrambling to find their place in the zero-emission future. Tesla has been pushing hard with electric trucks. Traditional diesel manufacturers are trying to evolve, and a new generation of startups is all in on battery electric solutions. But Cummins is doing something different. They're not just replacing the engine, they're reinventing it with hydrogen. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Most of Cummins' competitors are all in on batteries or fuel cells. While these options are important, they come with their own set of challenges: long charging times, expensive infrastructure, and high costs for the end consumer. Jennifer Rumsey and her team at Cummins spotted a gap in the market. What if you could achieve zero emissions without starting from scratch? What if you could keep the core of the engine but make it cleaner and more sustainable? That's exactly what the hydrogen internal combustion engine H2ICE does. The beauty of Cummins' approach is its simplicity. H2 ICE uses the same engine architecture that's been refined over years of experience in the diesel world. This means fleet operators don't need to overhaul their entire operations or retrain their staff. The same tools, the same vehicle designs, just cleaner, greener hydrogen. This is where Cummins has a significant edge. Other companies are pushing to build entirely new systems, but Cummins is building on what already works, bridging the gap between the old world and the new. Their Helm platform, which stands for higher efficiency, lower emissions, and multiple fuels, gives them an even bigger advantage. This system can run on multiple fuel types, including hydrogen, natural gas, and traditional fuels. That means Cummins is future-proofing its engines for whatever the market needs in the years ahead. While others scramble to get on the hydrogen bandwagon, Cummins is leading the charge with a comprehensive, scalable solution that can hit the ground running. Their focus is on reliability, flexibility, and speed to market, key components that will determine the success of hydrogen in the real world. But none of this matters if the fleet owners and truckers aren't sold. That's why the next part of this journey takes us to the front lines, where the real questions will be answered. How do these new hydrogen-powered vehicles perform in the real world? Are fleets ready to embrace this shift, or will they stick with what they know? We're not talking about something that might work in a decade. Cummins' hydrogen internal combustion engine, or H2ICE, is already being tested, refined, and rolled out with support from governments, industry leaders, and even climate-focused watchdogs. It's not some pipe dream floating in a lab. It's a tangible, working solution built to replace dirty diesel without the downsides of slow-charging electric trucks or ultra-expensive fuel cells. But the real magic is in how scalable this tech is. You don't have to build entirely new vehicles or rewire entire cities. These engines can slide right into today's systems, trucks, buses, even construction equipment, and start making a difference right now. As the hydrogen refueling infrastructure catches up, which it is thanks to billions being poured into green hydrogen hubs, this tech becomes more and more unstoppable. And here's the kicker: Cummins isn't stopping with H2ICE. Through their zero-emissions subsidiary Accelera, they're also working on fuel cell powertrains, hydrogen production systems, and even electrolyzers to create clean hydrogen at scale. That means they're not just building engines, they're creating the entire ecosystem around them. Jennifer Rumsey is pushing this vision hard. In her eyes, hydrogen engines aren't just a cool new option, they're the missing link in the clean energy puzzle. And if Cummins nails it, which it really looks like they will, then they're not just going to shake the auto industry, they're going to rebuild it from the inside out. But how are the people on the ground reacting? Are drivers, fleets, and operators actually buying in? That's what we'll explore next, the real-world response to a bold new engine that's rewriting the rules. So, what started as a bold claim from Cummins CEO Jennifer Rumsey that this new hydrogen engine will shake the entire auto industry doesn't feel so bold anymore. It feels inevitable. From revolutionizing how we store and use renewable energy to making clean tech accessible without flipping the entire industry upside down, H2. ICE is more than just an engine. It's a bridge to a cleaner, smarter, and more practical future. And Cummins is building it brick by brick, with real-world performance and real-world partnerships. While some automakers are still locked in debates over batteries versus fuel cells, Cummins has skipped the argument and gone straight to the solution. Under Rumsey's leadership, they've proven that innovation doesn't always mean throwing everything away. Sometimes, it's about evolving what already works and making it cleaner, faster, and future-ready. The auto world is changing, not in 10 years, but now. Governments are backing it, industries are rallying around it, and most importantly, it's a change that doesn't leave anyone behind. That's what makes this so powerful. So whether you're a gearhead, a green tech enthusiast, or just someone curious about what the roads of tomorrow might look like, remember this moment. Because when we look back, it might just be Jennifer Rumsey's hydrogen engine that kicked off the next great leap forward. And if this engine really is about to shake the auto industry, the question is, are we ready for the impact?